Hey, Tasia, that means you. Sitting in the back of the room. So on behalf of the University of Minnesota, I would like to welcome you to the 73rd Annual National Debate Tournament. Ceremony the first. My job is to welcome you here. I can tell you that hosting the NDT is a lot of fun. I woke up at 3:30 this morning and laid in bed thinking through all the things that could potentially go wrong. And then I thought, one thing I could do is I could write down everything I needed to talk about today and then use that to speak from. It's like flowing. Maybe the debaters could take a little bit of note on that. Well, flow, it's good. Myself and the rest of the Gopher team would like to welcome you here. This is our home. We love living in Minneapolis and St. Paul. I actually live in St. Paul, but everybody calls it Minneapolis. And we are very happy to have 417 of our closest friends join us. And our goal is to make this the best national debate tournament that you folks can have. If there's anything that we can do to make your experience better, ask, and we will do our best to take care of it. Hopefully when you see the hospitality, especially the snacks tomorrow, you will see that we took your comments very, very seriously. Like many of you, I've been through quite a few of these ceremonies, so I'll keep my comments short. I'd like to thank some folks, make a couple of announcements, and then introduce our next speaker. Thank you. Support for this tournament has been provided by a number of units within the university, including the Hubbard School of Journalism and Mass Communication, the Humphrey School of Public Affairs, the Law School, Mondale Law School, the College of Liberal Arts, particularly Dean Robert McMaster and Dean Peggy Edgell. I'd like to thank the Gopher coaches, the Gopher debaters who are going to be debating and helping to run the tournament. And especially I would like to thank the Department of Communication Studies, especially Dr. Ron Green, who's here tonight. We would not have a debate team if it were not for Ron's efforts. We would not be able to host this tournament if it were not for Ron's efforts. He is strongly committed to the idea that debate and forensics, including NDT debate, are a critical part of an undergraduate education experience and believes in the value of deliberation and dialogue. To the extent that he keeps adding debate teams that I have to run, we have a parley team and a speech team, but we would not be here without Ron. He's the best boss you could potentially imagine, and I'm very, very pleased that he's here and that we're able to host you in our home. So if we could give a round of applause. So 2 announcements. Announcement 1 is that a lot of really useful information is on the NDT website. Directors, you could think of that as a syllabus. And you think, how would I want my students to approach the syllabus? You'd want them to read the syllabus. So there's a lot of information on there, like the schedule, where the bathrooms are, where the buildings are located, etc. So if you could take a look at that sometime tonight, we'd appreciate it. The second announcement, and we'll call this Hiccup the First, is power in the Great Hall. We have 50 outlets. Every table should have an outlet. I have been assured by the tech people that if we plug in lots of things to those outlets, it will trip the circuits. And since we are on spring break, that outlet will no longer work. So please be judicious in the power usage from those circuits. I can assure you that there are hundreds of places that you can sit and work inside the Union on the ground floor and the first floor. So don't be plugging in like a stereo system and a TV and a microwave into the power. We should be fine otherwise. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Alicia Cohn. She's the director of the Hubbard School of Communication. She was a standout debater at the University of Louisville. She was a graduate coach at Wake Forest University and at USC. And when it was announced that she had been hired to head up the School of Journalism, Dave Arnett G-chatted me and said, "Damn, you all are really lucky." So please give a round of applause to Alicia.
Hi everyone, thanks for welcoming me. I am thrilled to be here. I was told to give a little talk about what debate means to me, and I've been to enough of these over time that I promised I'd be short and not share too many war stories. But I do want to share a little bit at this time and have all of you reflect a little bit on some of the things that debate did for me and that I hope can do for many of you as well. First, debate taught me a lot about the importance of education. No one can take education away from you. My debate coaches always emphasize this. They encourage curiosity, getting better evidence, reading and understanding what you read, asking good questions. I was very fortunate. Daryl Birch was one of my first debate coaches. Dave Arnett both coached me and worked with me, and then I hired him, so it was a great circle. But all of us have always valued education, and that's not a given. Second, debate gave me confidence to test out ideas, and throughout my career I've tested ideas, I've advocated for many that are terrible, and to try out some hard things. And many of you have a deeper understanding of the importance of complex policy problems and norms than people who are leading our government. And I recently read Michelle Obama's Becoming, and one of the things that resonated with me in that book was that she said that it's really important to believe that there is no one that's truly smarter than you or who really can know more than you in a room. In other words, you are just as smart as everyone else here, and you have a lot of potential. And I've been to a lot of universities, I've been on a number of faculties, and I've met a lot of very smart people, I've met a lot of very wealthy people, and I'm here to tell you that you can do it. I was just a kid, a poor kid from Kentucky, who had kind of a necessarily I'm not going to put on it, and I've been in Cleve. And that date led to many more, and we've been married for 15 years. So
Judged me when I was a sophomore in high school, which is embarrassing for both of us. Junior year, Joe qualified for the NDT in 1979. They were considered a very respectable team and expected to clear. Like so many of us that expected to clear, fell a little bit short and didn't quite make it. In 1980, he went to graduate school at Wake Forest and was an assistant debate coach there. And while he was there, he was a contemporary with Ed Panetta, who's currently on the Board of Trustees, Arnie Matson, and Jeanette Kennermuir. And they all shared a house, an old Victorian house, which I've been told was known as Mellow Manor. And this house hosted the first two survivor parties after the Shirley. Al Loudon shared a story with me today about Frank, who they constantly kidded as Polyester Mitchell, place first round at-large bid to the NDT. And she took a couple of years off in her senior year for Dallas. Sandra graduated from the UCLA Law School, and she was a prominent attorney in Los Angeles. In 2009, she became her firm's managing partner, one of the few women who may not have a comp department.
61, went to the Harvard Law School. He clerked for the California Supreme Court and for Potter Stewart on the United States. Certainly no contribution to addressing injustice and seeking to rectify it. It was debate that brought me out of my introverted shell and introduced me to the worlds of policy research and public dialogue about matters of national and sometimes global consequence. It was debate that transformed me from a shy kid to a relatively
Never won this tournament. I have no particular. She coached soon after she graduated. Oh, how did they do? They won their first national championship. Was literally like the year after Adrian graduated, right? She came off of an NDT, like so many of us have, where maybe you didn't get quite where you wanted to be, and she came back the next year and coached her alma mater to the national championship for the coach that kind of brought her through this activity. Then she went to Northwestern and was part of that ungodly machine, right? That just like, everyone talks about Deathridge. Deathridge was amazing, and he was, and he won a ton of national tournaments. But let me tell you, behind Deathridge were people like Adrian Rivera and the love of her life, Judd Kimball, right? Coaches like those of you in this room that built those programs. Adrian was part of that. And then she would go on to do something like, build a program at Mary Washington virtually out of scratch from people who were not being recruited nationally, and then get them to be a nationally competitive team. That is literally one of the hardest things I can still, to this day in my life, having worked with companies of all sizes, people of all sorts, I can't fathom the difficulty of what people like Joe Schatz and Adrian have done. If you ever have to do it, may God have mercy on your soul. It is exhausting, and you will not be compensated, and you will pay in sweat equity to people who don't appreciate it. But you do it because you care about the activity, and that's what Adrian is. And then finally, the third kind of level of her, you know, 3-level game, she builds institutions, right? She coaches novices. She's helped construct and execute summer institutes that have encouraged high school kids at all levels, from young ones to nationally recruited. She runs tournaments. You know, if people don't run these things, this activity goes away, and no one gets paid to do it, right? It takes people like Adrian, who will train people to be in the tab room, to make these things happen. So this year, I'm super psyched to give this to you, Adrian, because I got to see you coached by Ross. I got to watch you watch Ross win, and everything you have accomplished hasn't just kind of been an honor to people like Ross and to Duck and the institutions they built. It has transcended it in ways that have benefited just kids and created your own line of people who I know talk about being an Adrian Rivero coach in the same way that you talk about, or being an Adrian Rivero debater, in the same way you talk about being a Ross Smith debater. So this year's Keel Award winner, and someone I would take a bullet for, even though she's grumpy, Adrian Rivero. And up next, your tournament director, for the reason you all had to stick around and not leave, Sarah Partlow.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 73rd National Debate Tournament. Please join me in thanking our hosts, David Cram-Helwick and the University of Minnesota. Reminders and announcements, and then we'll get on to what you're actually waiting for, the awards. But first, if you missed the photographer today, there will be a photographer available in the Union from 11 to 1 tomorrow. So that will be first come, first serve. Second, sorry, I've had a cold for a few weeks, so if I clear my throat, I apologize. There are no Mavericks allowed at the NDT, not even for one debate, no substitutes. Additionally, there is a conduct code which prohibits harassing, abusive, and violent behavior. If you need to contact the conduct committee, please email the committee at ndtcontact@googlegroups.com, or you can text the tab room, and I'll give you that number in a moment, and I'll get you in touch with them via cell. Judges should pay full attention to debates and minimize distractions, so judges should not be texting or emailing during speeches. The students have worked very hard all year to be here, and they deserve your full attention. All contests are open to participants and invited guests and may be recorded. This is in the NDT rules for educational purposes. Joe Schatz will be leading the live streaming effort. Thank you, Joe. And people who are recording a debate will seek your permission before streaming the debate. So the rule is it can be recorded for educational purposes, but not necessarily put on the internet without your permission. Okay. Benton Bajork is the scouting director. Please thank Benton for serving in this role. We had information sent out on this earlier. We've done all that we can to make the tournament accessible to everyone. We appreciate everybody's patience and cooperation. There are limited ADA spaces available in the Union, but we've done our best to accommodate all of the requests that we've had. Additionally, there are quiet rooms and gender-neutral bathrooms. These are detailed on the National Debate Tournament website called nationaldebatetournament.org. So please go and read that, and there are maps of gender-neutral restrooms and everything like that. No smoking and no alcohol or controlled substances in any competition space. And I think that's all the rule reminders and announcements. So now it is time to recognize the top 5 first round at-large bid teams of 2019. I'll start by talking a bit about the special awards given to the top teams and their coaches, and then move on to recognizing the teams. So the Copeland Award is given to the top first round at-large bid team. On September 21st, 1989, the life of Rex Copeland was brought to a sudden and tragic close. At its end, Samford University lost an outstanding student, the forensics community lost an excellent debater, and his many friends were deprived of the friendship and love of a fine individual person. It is in recognition of those rare professional and personal qualities which Rex offered that Samford University put together with his parents an endowment to create this award in his name. Therefore, with the agreement of the NDT Board of Trustees and the National Debate Tournament Committee, the Rex Copeland Memorial Award is presented annually to the college debate team ranked #1 in the first round at-large team selections. Rex's legacy is in his joy of life, his good nature and warm personality make us forever remember him. Family and friends brought him happiness. Debate competition brought him honor among his peers. In a few years, except through this memorial award. To those lucky enough to remember him, his love of life should be what we think of when his name is mentioned. To those who never knew him, know that his happiness came not from a single-minded pursuit, but from the balance of hard work and play. Life is too short to forget those people and events that truly make a difference. In 2009, the James Unger Award was established to recognize the coach of the top first round at-large team, or the Copeland winner. So without further ado, we'll start with number 5. Congratulations to the 5th ranked first round at-large bid team from the University of California at Berkeley, Nathan Fleming and Miles Gray. In the 4th seed slot is from the university, or Emory University, Alex Gazmararian and Zahir Sheikh. In 3rd place, from Georgia, is, surprise, surprise, Swapnil Advait and, no, so I got it wrong, I'm sorry, Swapnil Agrawal and Advait Ramanan. In 2nd place, from Harvard, is John Cooper and Ayush Midha. And the 2019 top first round at-large bid receiving the Copeland Award from the University of Kentucky is Dan Bannister and Anthony.
go, Dave. Everybody go, Dave. All right, Dave.
Congratulations.
Picture time, Dave.
So after this, this will conclude this meeting, but after this, Benton wants to meet with the scouts in the back corner. So if you're a scout, please go to that back corner for a quick scouting meeting. We will see you in the morning. There is breakfast.